Hi, it's me, Bill, Spirit River. This is a CDC UV2 Emerger that we're going to be tying. That's a little drawing that I made just for you guys. As you can see, we've got a little bit of a Mallard flank feather tail. You can also use a little Zelon or sparkle yarn for that. We've got a UV2 Biot going up over a silver or pearl body, which kicks off a whole lot of reflection. We're going to have CDC feathers for your legs or hackle and wing case, and then we're going to have some UV2 dubbing, dry fly dubbing, as your thorax. So this is the new UV2 materials that we're promoting. All of these materials have been dyed with UVF and UVR. UVF is a very dominant strong color that you're going to see a lot of hunters use, a lot of people use, safety guys use like out in the streets. UVR is a much more subtle color that the human eyes don't really perceive. It's how mayflies will find their mates, it's how bees find flowers, that sort of thing. Picture it like kind of like a dog whistle that you blow that the dog can hear and you can't. That's kind of the UVR aspect. So we're incorporating both into a whole series of flies and materials. This is going to be one of the flies I'm going to show you right now. Most of these materials have been UV2'd, so it's a double dye process. Takes a lot of time and energy. Been playing with this for a couple years. Here's one. We've got a number of different types of dubbings as well. You'll see this one. This has got a whole multi-spectrum of colors in it. And half of those have been UVR'd, the other half UVF'd, and then we mixed them with regular dubbing. So you're going to have about 15 or 20% UV2 properties inside this dubbing, and yet still get the dubbing color you want. So this is a fairly easy fly to tie. What you want to do when you're tying UV2 flies a lot of times is, what I like to do is I like to use white thread, because that helps any light that goes in to the fly can come back out, and you're going to get a lot more reflection and a lot more wavelengths coming off that fly if you do that. So this is my first shot at this. I don't have all of my materials totally prepped. I'm going to take a little bit of this Mallard, and I'm just going to take and even out the tips, and I'm going to cut those. I'm going to tie those so that they're hanging down. Excuse the marks on my fingers, I've been playing with magic markers today. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of this UV2 bluing olive. This is a bluing olive, by the way. I'm going to cut a couple of these little biots out of there. This is from a turkey. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take that, and I'm going to take some flash. This is our crystal splash right here. And I'm going to tie that in as well. So all these are being tied in together. And it's what I'm going to make this body out of. Now, I'm going to keep this really thin, and so I don't want to use a whole lot of thread on it. But the one thing you do want to do with this turkey biot, it's relatively fragile, and so what I like to do is put a drop of super glue on top of a bag like this, and then I'll take my bodkin, put just a little bit of that on there, that super glue, and now I'm going to wrap. It's going to be a real kind of flashy underbody. When I bring up my biot, sometimes I run it right next to each other every wrap, sometimes I don't. And again, I'm going to put a little bit of super glue because I really want this glue on the top and the bottom. And then I'm going to take and attempt to wrap this biot around. This biot's going right over that glue. Actually, it looks really cool if you leave just a little touch of that pearl or that silver coming out from under that body. There we go. Still getting used to this Dan vise that we're distributing. It's a nice vise. A lot of bang for your buck with this vise. So, there you go. As you can see, you've got a nice body, a tail, a biot over that little flash. Now what I've done is I've taken some CDC and I've stacked them. I've taken a whole bunch of CDC out of the package and matched them. So these have been matched. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these, just wet my fingers just a wee bit, and I'm going to condense them down here. Trim all the ends so they're nice and equal. Right here at the back of the fly, I tie that in, okay? So you got 3 natural Mallard gray CDC feathers that have been UV2'd. Now I'm going to take our UV2 dubbing, and it comes in a lot of different colors. I'm going to take the blue wing olive, and I'm going to create a bit of a thorax. Now I lay all these CDC feathers up and over the back, and then if I push it back a little bit, you get kind of a bump in it, and that really is something that I do want. It helps trap the air. It helps this fly float in the surface film. Now keep in mind, this fly is deadly when it's under the surface film. Don't be afraid to fish this when it's wet. Okay, I get that punched back, and I create basically a little bubble with those CDC feathers. But before I mess these CDC feathers up, I'm going to create legs out of them. And this is kind of the secondary part of it. If you can get your scissors to go right in and clip out those quills like this, I got 2 out of them. I'm going to throw this 3rd one away. Now you can see what I've created here is I've created basically a V of CDC feathers, and if you lay that over, you're going to see that CDC is way too long. Actually, I kind of like to fish it that way, but then I push it all together, run my scissors through my fingers like that, and I give it 1 clip. Now I've got a V of lots of CDC. These are going to kind of act as the wings of the fly. I lay that on each side of that CDC bubble that I made, and I tie that in. And as you can see, it flares around both sides. I'm going to go back in. I'm going to clip it. If you can get out of using a lot of quill, it's better. The finer the CDC you use on this, the better it is. I'm going to clean it up a little bit here. I take my thumbnail and I press that back just a wee. Now I'm going to add just a little bit of dubbing as basically a head. It hides a lot of sins as well. And then I'll do a little whip finish with this white thread. Absolutely deadly fly when there's a hatch. I threw a little half hitch on there just to make doubly sure. Oops. There again, I'm going to take that little drop of super glue I put and I'm not really going to trim this up too much because I like to fish a somewhat bushy CDC fly, but oh my gosh, look at this thing. I think you can see it pretty nice there. I'll pop it out a little bit. There. That gives you pretty much overall view. And here's the front view of it. Killer fly. Use Flashabou if you want to dry it out, false cast it a bunch. But again, this is designed to sit in the surface film or even just a bit under it. And you'll see fish come up in porpoise for these all the time. We do trico, blueing olive, pale morning dun, that sort of thing. So anyway, again, Bill Black at Spirit River. Thanks for supporting our company. Please try our new UV2 products. I hope I've shown you how to tie a neat new fly. Take care, thanks.